all good. I think we're back up and running again, but yeah, just let me know if it sounds shit or can't hear me. But yeah, in the pits with Mr. Dakotah Norton himself. Any wise words? You can take the microphone. We've upgraded to the swanky Silcat Allen key this week. So
would you look at this?
Yeah.
What are the wise words? We're just killing time at this point, waiting for Chris Hauser.
Yeah.
Wise words.
How's the track you've been at? What do you think?
That's good. Yeah. Overall, it just looks like if you were to take Val di Sole and what we all remember it as, and then just cover it in beach sand, like sand, dirt, gravel, all over the whole thing. It just looks like they rolled down the entire track and just kept dumping dirt over everything. So I'm sure a lot of that will get pushed around, pushed off the track. Man, it's I'm sure gonna erode super fast. And you just took a classic track and a classic layout, and now it's like it's fresh again. So that's the dream, really. It'll be fun to ride that all weekend.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
If it stays dry, it's going to be super moon dust like Andorra last year, and that makes for like super cool viewer. But unfortunately, it's really slippery and scary to race. But at the same time, if it were to rain, it would get so gnarly because it's all fresh dirt, right? So it'd cut up. It'd be like ruts and like we seen Leo Gang years ago when it was pretty fresh, where it was all rutted up. So I think either way, no matter the conditions, we're in for a super good Val di Sole. It'll be fun to watch.
Sick. Thanks, Dakotah.
Yeah, here's your silk of that.
Passing it back. So yeah, back in the Union Pit, some wise words from Dakotah there. And yeah, straight from Dakotah to his better half's bike, Frida. I've just prepped this ready for the week. We did some testing and some fun run laps in Schladming last week, and yeah, came back with some useful information really. So we're going to try to implement those in tomorrow's practice session, see how we go, and tweak and tune from then on really. But to round it up, it's basically up in fork pressure and up in a spring rate. See how we go. I think that should feel pretty good in the continuous holes that sound like they're going to appear if it stays dry here in Val di Sole.
Jim, why did she go up in pressure?
She was too soft.
She was too soft.
Yeah.
What was her biggest complaint about being too soft?
I think it was we had some rebound issues due to there being so little air in the fork. We're struggling to kind of get the recovery we needed to do there anyway. But yeah, again, it just came from support as the speed was increased as you were towing her up to speed in Schladming. Is that right?
Yeah, I was doing some towing. I think she said to me the biggest thing she complained about, she's like, once I hit repetitive holes, because she's been working a ton on her braking points and braking with purpose and dropping heels and really digging the bike in and braking. And she said when she does that, she has trouble modulating her braking because she's hitting the holes so hard, and also has trouble being able to see the corner to steer through it because she's braking so hard in the holes. So we tried to get the suspension up a little bit more. As you talked about, rebound rate was the biggest thing, getting it to recover. But also, I think a lot of her biggest complaint was, in addition to rebound rate, I think the fork was packing and walling into a bit of the progression in the fork and lacking maybe initial to mid-stroke support. So trying to hold it up in the travel enough so A, had enough return force to recover, but also on top of that, so that it was holding it up in the softer part of the stroke. So when she hit the holes, it was able to actually move instead of the fork just kind of like locking and becoming super harsh and leading to her not being able to feel how much input she's putting into the brakes through her hands.
Yeah, sounds good. So from a mechanics point of view, the changes we will make to do that, like we've mentioned on previous episodes before, but the Olin's fork can be adjusted in two different points. So you control the ramp and the main chamber of the fork independently. So at the bottom of the fork is where we change the ramp curve kind of thing. So for Frida here, we went up in pressure in both the ramp and the main chamber itself. So yeah, what that kind of allows you to do as well, because you can change them both independently, you can physically change how progressive the curve is by altering how much air is in the ramp versus the main chamber. So it can be a little tricky balance, but once you learn the product, get some good productive testing time in there, you kind of learn the ways of it, and then tweaking from then on really. So yeah, I think we're in a good spot with this bike here, but put it to practice tomorrow on the track, see how we go, tweak and test away. But yeah, confidence is key here, and yeah, Frida's feeling really good going into this with the bike, how it's feeling. So yeah, I think we're in for a really great week.
What have you done? Val de Sol is known. I'll give you.
He's got the silk.
We're waiting. We're on the Silka. We're waiting for old Chris here to get moving on his stuff. So I got some questions for you. What are we doing to find comfort in the bike for a track that is so, like, a lot of what we hear from people is when the track is rough, they can't find comfort, right? And you can call it comfort, you can call it compliance, you can call it rideability, bike attitude, whatever, things like that. But what are you doing on her bike over the course of this week to try to get her some comfort so she can push from top to bottom without getting too tired?
Good question. I think with this bike here, and for any rider as well, on a longer track like this, when it's so physical and the holes are so big, I think reducing fatigue is probably the biggest point, meaning you can stay consistent on it and basically as fresh as possible, as fresh as you can do for the entire run. So I think if we can make the bike recover faster between hits, and keep the dynamic ride point of the bike higher and basically ready to go for the next hit, that's how we're going to keep things fresh and keep things rolling and comfortable throughout the whole run. Any words on that? Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely keeping it recovering. Some could even say that making compliance A comes from B, or from suspension, but B, spoke tension. Obviously it takes a lot more maintenance to run a lighter spoke tension, but I think that will lead to A, grip, but B, just the first couple inches of your suspension. If you look at a lot of the videos, the first thing that compresses is the tire, and then it goes through the rim and then into the fork, right? And then through the suspension and then into the hands and the feet. So she's on aluminum cranks. She's on the TRP crank with the OChain, so she's getting less pedal kickback and vibration into her feet. Also, she's running the push-on grips, which give a lot more rubber. So there's a lot of, I guess, padding there. Once everything goes through the tire, through the wheel, through the suspension, and then it's into your hands. She's got her bars a bit higher too to keep less weight on her hands over the course of a 4-minute or so track. Who knows what it'll be this year. So just trying to get some compliance out of the bike in terms of your contact points. She seems to really like the OChain and be really happy with that. And that way she can just stand there and she's not constantly getting chatter back into her feet. So I've been super happy with that. I don't know where she is. She should be here for this, shouldn't she? How am I doing this?
She's chilling in your spa.
Yeah, she's in the pool, and I'm here giving the lowdown on her bike.
Right time, right place, brother.
Yeah. Another thing that we worked on quite a lot, something maybe the people might be super interested. You know, as a guy that spends a ton of time working on my own personal suspension, you spend a ton of time thinking about her setup, but no one actually rides it and can give feedback other than her. I put my motion instrument system on her bike, which I enjoy being able to see what's going on, but she comes from a cross-country background, so she doesn't like for the bike to ride deep in the rear. She likes for it to sit quite tall. And she feels like when her feet are getting close to the ground and the bike is sagging in, she doesn't feel like she can hit bumps with confidence. So one thing we've really worked on over the course of the last year or two since she's been on the Union is actually the progression of the fork. Now, which if she wants the bike to ride high in the rear, naturally it's going to put weight on the front of the bike, right? And as you race down a 4-minute rough track and it's super steep and you're taking these repeated hits and you're constantly getting pitched over the front, we've worked pretty hard to get her more comfortable to push forward and hit things hard. And we noticed that with less support in her fork, less damping and less in the bottom chamber, she actually wouldn't be able to use her full fork because she'd be too afraid. Look at this bugger. Here he comes. Yes, boy. She would actually not feel comfortable to hit bumps as hard as she could because she didn't have enough support. So as she made her fork stiffer, she actually used more travel because she felt more confident to go faster. So there's one for you. If you're not comfortable to push, even if you're not using full suspension travel. Maybe, you know, we just go back through like a bracket test, less compression, more compression, better or worse, less progression, more progression, less progression, better or worse, and just take the time to make those changes so you have comfort to feel like you can go faster. And that's what we've done with her.
Result.
Look at the boy.
Thanks to Dakotah. There he goes. Invoice in the post later.
Look who's
But
back,
yeah,
boy.
that basically just goes to show most of the preparation for the race itself actually comes in the off. There we go, we're back. So yeah, going around the Union Pit. Unfortunately, during the Schladming test week, we had a little casualty when it came to Lachie Stevens McNab.
Sorry. Wait, the Von
yeah.
rolls on. The Von rolls on.
Lachie, so tell everyone what happened.
Sick as scrub.
Sickest scrub ever. But yeah, I just crashed, put my foot out. Not too sure how I landed, but yeah, I'm a doctor, so I've seen the MRI results and it doesn't sound too good, but I've still got to talk to doctors and see where to go. But so yeah, I'm not too sure. I think I'm gonna head home. A bit of a break now, so get healthy, hopefully do some riding and see when we can come back, but definitely before the end of the season. So I look forward to getting on my bike again because I miss it already.
Yeah, there we go. One thing to remember is you're always the man, brother.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
So yeah, a little bit of unfortunate news there, but yeah, comes with the territory of it. We'll keep everyone updated again when the results come. But yeah, see how we go there. So going on this side of the pit, we have Josh doing the end of day preparation on Chris's bike. He's just come back from junior practice. So we're doing what we do at the end of every day. Stick to the routine, stick to what you know, and then theoretically we should have everything covered. So yeah, what we do here is model again.
How am I in every shot,
He
man?
said, what do you call it? A magnet to the camera. So yeah, going fresh rubber here. Tyre choice for Chris here is DHR on the rear and an Assegai on the front. He's just come down for testing. That feels like that's what he's going to be most comfortable on. So yeah, sticking with that again. And then also in here, which is pretty exciting, we have the fresh Crank Brothers drip. So yeah, new shoes for everyone here. Yeah, shout out to Crank Brothers for that, super sick.
Didn't I leave a roll of this in the truck?
And then I thought you used those.
You can take that one.
Can I? Do you have more?
Yeah, we've got loads. Yeah. So yeah, this is another interesting tip for everyone, especially when it comes to racing. Making your setup as secure as possible. Underneath the rim tape itself, we run a strip of this. It's essentially like builder's tape, basically. And in the event you snap a spoke, it should stop the spoke coming through, piercing the rim tape and giving you a flat tire. So yeah, one of those simple tips. But yeah, I genuinely feel that if you do get a flat, that could be the day saver there. So,
What is this? What some used to call maybe ghetto tubeless, but with where they used to take the tube around and wrap it around and then mount the tire over it. But
Yeah.
he's running the tape actually a bit up the wall of the rim. And what is your theory behind that?
we always run the rim tape as wide as possible. You can kind of see here that it forms a lip on the sidewall of the rim itself, and basically, obviously hard to prove exactly, but in theory it should help the tyre from burping because the seal goes all the way up the rim wall, and if you do start to lose air, in my opinion, it's going to kind of like, yeah, help seal it, keep it in there a little bit. So yeah, I can see here when Josh is applying the rim tape, it is considerably wider than the rim, and then yeah, go around there with a tyre lever, poke it through all the holes in the sidewall of the rim, and get a solid seal. So yeah, and then this setup is using Pete's rim tape here, super solid. Shout out to those guys for hooking us up. We're all there on greases, sprays, bike wash, everything. Yeah, product's amazing. Man, it's all action in the Union Pit today. We've got the guys from OChain here, performing a service live for you guys. So yeah, we're opening up this one, giving a little freshen up for the week to see how we go. But yeah, this is the first week we've had all 5 riders running the OChain system. Chris, the man himself. It's the home race.
Yep.
How was the practice session today? How's the track?
So the track was pretty dusty and a bit loose, but it was so fun to ride. So keen for practice again tomorrow.
Sick.
And then qualies.
Are you hoping for a little bit of rain? Think it'll improve the track, or do you want it to stay dusty and dry?
I think a bit of rain will help a lot, honestly, but we'll see.
Yeah. You said it was pretty skatey today with the loose, dusty, sandy almost terrain. Was it hard to like press into corners and find traction? Was it hard to judge where the kind of like breaking point was when it comes to traction?
So it was hard to understand how much speed carry in the corners and of cumbers, but in the end it was not that bad. It was really fun to ride and I really enjoyed practice, so
Yeah.
keen to ride again the track.
Sick. So yeah, Chris Hauser. Keep your eyes on that name this weekend. I think he's going to go pretty good in front of the local crowd. So yeah, see how we go there.
I'll do this.
But yeah, back to the OChain service. We have all the parts and stuff there. So yeah, several springs, several springs, rubber bumpers kind of thing. So yeah, it's amazing that so many few pieces in essentially a pretty simple design. Yeah, it can make such a big difference when it comes to how the bike feels and performs.
Erano gli elastomi alla fine?
Un po' tutto, cioè è da cambiare. No, io te lo dico però. È da cambiare. Questo è
If anyone has any questions about the OChain or anything on our bike, feel free to drop them. We'll answer them the best we can do. Live on the crutches.
Where's Joshy Frother gone?
Snuck off. So I didn't even hear him leave. Is his bike still here?
Dietro no, però vado a prendere. Non si può, tanto gli andranno a comprare tutti tranne a lui.
No, ma perché quest'anno sono i ragazzi che se lo sono comprato proprio loro.
Appunto, però a te, cioè nel senso, non più si può dare. Guarda qui Space Record ci sono più. Va bene, prendo.
Car transmission grease sounds like the one. Be protected from the weather, that's for sure.
Troppo gioco, consumato.
But yeah, the product we use for suspension servicing is PE suspension assembly grease. Yeah, we just performed a lower leg service on all the Öhlins forks this morning, and yeah, that's what we use on the wiper seals. And yeah, this stuff's really good. Like, yeah, definitely gained some compliance using that, which is super cool. So yeah, stuff's sick. If you need some, definitely hit up your local PE's retailer. Shock we use is the Öhlins TTX. We do run various different tunes. Riding style, we kind of might tune the compression and rebound circuits to suit. So Frida's bike here, which we focus mainly on today, runs a very light rebound tune in the shock due to her low weight and low spring rate. So on this now we've moved it to the 388 spring, which is still crazy light. So we need because the spring doesn't have so much force in it itself, we overcome that with a lighter rebound tune to make everything as free as possible and rebounding as fast as possible. Get the pens, Chris.
Yeah.
Just rip into it. Yeah. So yeah, in the past we've done the graffiti designs on the walls, but today we're going to do something a little bit different. So showed you those crank leather shoes today. We got a fresh set of white shoes here, and Chris is going to go wild on those with the marker pens. So yeah, I don't think there's a plan for this, is it, Chris? Just going to go wild and see what happens?
Yeah, freestyle.
Yeah, freestyle it. So yeah, another thing, if you're interested in Chris, his riding and his graffiti, his union workers bio dropped today, and you can view that on the Vital YouTube as well, so make sure to check that out. Super cool, it gives an insight into his riding, where he grew up, and yeah, his passion for graffiti. So yeah, super cool, like, definitely check that out. He's having a sip of the red ambulance to get himself going. What colour's first, Chris? Take a seat.
I think I should try to keep them stylish using red.
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
the shoes
let's
are red.
see it. Nervous.
So
So yeah, the first bit of ink has been laid there. We'll go, yeah, see how Josh is getting on with the end of day strip down, and come back to that and see how we go. So yeah, again, Assegai front, DHR rear. These are the tyres we've taken off. So at a view you can kind of see that there is some wear on the tyre there, but also an interesting bit of information to take into account is how the sidewall degrades from a few runs. So obviously when the bike is ridden, especially on like a World Cup downhill track where it is so rough, the sidewall goes through so many compression cycles that it loses some of its structure, and it's not quite as strong as it was when it was new. So yeah, you might find that when a tyre's been ridden for, let's say, like 30 runs kind of thing, that yeah, you do notice it to be a little bit more wallowy and there's not so much support when you're cornering hard there. So yeah, definitely something to take into consideration. Especially when we have a limited practice window here as well. So during a World Cup week we may only do 12 runs, 12, 13 runs. So to keep everything as consistent as possible so we can focus on the track and any micro adjustments we need to make. And the more consistent everything can be, the easier it is. So yeah, shout out to OChain for doing this as well. They've come at the end of practice session today to do this service, and make sure everyone's running smoothly going into tomorrow's practice session. There we go. Looking sick, Chris.
Sì, ora spesso che loro usano terrenisti spesso.
Comparing Chris's tyre setup to Frida's, Frida runs the double DHR. Basically, her tyre of choice, what she feels most confident on, and when the terrain is loose, dry like it is here, she finds that the kind of like the more spaced out tread hooks up a little bit better, cuts into the loose dust, and helps her find traction. little toolbox check for Josh as well. Foam approach, nice and neat. Some nice bits of kit in there. And this is what an OChain service box looks like. So in there there's so many gaskets, the rubber bumpers, all that kind of thing to adjust the flow, that kind of thing. So yeah, super cool that they've come here to help us out. We've only been 2 of us to usually 5 riders. Any help from the sponsors and brands that help us out is massively appreciated. It makes a huge difference. So yeah, shout out to those dudes for coming over here after the practice session and getting things running fresh again. Back to the shoes. Looking pretty sick. The Crank Brothers across the back. The all white shoes seem like the perfect blank canvas for this, so shout out to Crank Brothers for the support too.
Per questo è diverso.
Come cose sì. Quanti si riescono?
4, sì. Cioè saremo 5 ma fortunati.
I think one thing that we may adjust a little bit this week is spoke tension. Due to the loose terrain here, it can be hard to kind of like gauge the traction levels. So to boost those kind of like from the chassis itself, we can lower the spoke tension and just gain a little bit more compliance and predictability from the wheel itself. So yeah, we may go down a little bit there. See how we go. We have reference points from last year and previous dry races that we can go to as well. So
Ci andrebbe da bere qualcosa.
all part of the process.
Coca-Cola. Sicuro? In caso fammi sapere un po' da.
Allora, i 12 te li lascio perché
Sunny here in Bardasol at the moment, but yeah, looking at the weather, it's a little bit tricky to say what it's going to do. There's some suspicious looking clouds over there. And I think it's going to be an entirely different track and a race should the heavens open, so it's going to be hard to say.
No, però preferirei.
Fingers crossed for a dry race, I think.
Secondo me più si può sfruttarlo.
c'è sicuramente molta più trazione
So
dietro.
this bike here has a 12 degree on it,
È
which
frenata, è
basically
molto
indicates how much
frenata.
float the OChain gives.
Si può leggermente scaricare
So yeah,
l'ammortizzatore
how
in
much free play
partenza,
there is
per carità,
in the
però
cranks, which yeah, isolates your feet from the chatter, pedal kickback and braking forces.
Sì,
Millimetrico.
penso che tu sai che
No.
insomma,
L'anno scorso usavo bene il 12. Grazie mille.
Is Lachie still here? Oh, sorry. How's he gone down?
Va,
I'm coming.
mi monto il 12 perché c'è il
Baby
segno.
shoes.
Hey, shoes. That's kind of scuffed.
I know if you like.
Frother,
Yo,
the Frother, the man. Any words for Vital Life? How's the track?
track covers my life. Okay, the track is actually my favourite ever. Like, the dirt, the rocks, it is literally the best. It's like a super, it's not a bouncy track, but it's like a unweight, weight, and a froth tracks like that. It's like, it's
So
freaking
sick.
unreal.
Yeah. And what was the highlight day today? Who gave you a helmet?
Greg, thank you so much. He literally saved my race because I couldn't get a helmet in time. So, and Greg got me one. And I have a tiny head. Like, it's mega small. And Greg got me a size that fit. Like, I literally can't thank him enough. Literally can't thank him enough.
Huge shout out. Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah. Good luck tomorrow,
Massive.
Frother. Everyone will be rooting for you, man.
Thank you. Alright, I'm gonna go find Lachie. Do you know?
Tiny head. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that was actually a problem. Frother is Australian privateer that yeah, everyone's fallen in love with. So everyone's been rooting around, helping him out. But he does have the world's smallest head, so although we'd love to give him a helmet, it was a little tricky today. So yeah, shout out to Greg for that. It's so cool to see the big pros helping out the up and coming privateers like that. It's like so sick to see. The 2 mechanics to 5 bikes thing is definitely something that is a test at every race and testing session. The way we do it is it's me and Josh at every race, and we split the riders. So he looks after Anton and Ollie's bike, and I look after Frida and Lachie's bike, and then that leaves Chris, which we split between us depending who's free at what time, kind of thing. So yeah, it can be tricky, but yeah, best thing to do is work together, try to have the best communication we can do, to make sure yeah, no corners are cut and everything is yeah, everything's super sick. The pit space, it's not cheap, but it's cheap comparison to world champs. To put things into perspective, we have 3 6x3 gazebos here, but due to how obscenely expensive the Fort William World Champs pit space is, we had to go down to 110, which is going to be a squeeze for potentially 5 riders and 3 staff. But yeah, being a smaller team with yeah, limited budget, we have to do what we have to do. So yeah, we'll manage, we'll get by. But yeah, the pit space definitely isn't small budget friendly, so yeah, hopefully something that will get changed, but yeah, we'll work with it while we can. This is Anton's bike. Something that's quite unique about his setup is how he runs his brakes. He runs his brakes with kind of like super limited throw, so you can see there that the brake is biting like within a few millimeters of it being pulled. But yeah, it's what he knows, what he likes, and TRP brake system's so easy to work on, so we can tune that in nice and easy. There's Mr. OChain himself here. Could you give us a few words on how you think that OChain improves the ride quality of the bike?
Yeah, for sure. After this time having more than 15 teams, the feedback is always pretty the same. So it helps a lot in terms of leg fatigue, for sure. Under braking, you can literally feel that you can brake 1 meter later with the OChain. That's my feeling too, personally. And yeah, it helps a lot the suspension to work on at the 100%. It's like the bike has no filter anymore, and so
yeah,
it's a huge upgrade for every bike.
Yeah, and the proof is in the pudding that now all 5 of our riders are running the OChain system. But yeah, big shout again to these guys for taking the time to come and help us out, and help us out with some servicing, that kind of thing, and making sure their product is running the best it can do. See how we're getting on the shoes. Looks like some more red been added. Got that eyes on the side, Chris?
Yeah.
Pretty sick. He's wearing the Union sun hat as well. Keep your eyes peeled for Union merch coming soon. We're hoping to have a full range, so yeah, keep checking that out with the little Steel City TV under there. So yeah. For those that you haven't seen, before the shoes, we've been doing pit walls. So we have an Industry 9 one there that Chris has graffitied. And then behind my workstation here we have a big box set. Yeah,
Allora,
simple ways to jazz up the pit, but yeah, it's super cool and it allows Chris to express himself a little bit when he gets off the track.
Grazie mille.
fai tutto, allora, questi qui sono gli altri, e il segreto te l'ho messo dentro la scatolina e così metto.
Ok, grazie mille veramente. Grazie mille.
Vai.
Ciao Christian.
Ciao.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Grazie. Ciao.
And tomorrow we check this too.
Yeah, that's alright.
Okay.
At some point.
Ok, quello è bloccato.
12 degrees for the other guy. Yeah.
So yeah, what else they've left for us here is the 12-degree float kits for the OChain. At the minute we're running the 9-degree setting, so that just gives us a little bit of scope to kind of like enhance the feeling of the OChain a little bit more. That could come down to rider preference, but yeah, we'll see. Might be a change we make outside of a World Cup race week. It could be quite a drastic change for the limited practice window we have. Yeah, see how it goes there. The weather's a touchy subject. It's one that everyone's talking about. At the minute it looks a bit hit and miss, and you can never trust the mountain forecast. At the minute we've got glorious sunshine and a super dusty track, but if the weather says what it's going to do, I think we could be in for a wet race. We'll potentially look at changing the bike setup, mud tyres, that kind of thing. But yeah, fingers crossed things stay dry, or maybe an overnight shower that could improve the track a little bit, help dampen down the dust and loose sections of track. But yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be insanely gnarly if it does rain as well, which could be good for spectators, potentially bad for riders, and yeah, as a mechanic it means a hell of a lot more bike washing, so yeah, I'm hoping the weather gods are nice to us. Yeah, this is what a World Cup pit space looks like, for us anyway. Mechanics benches at the front, rider chill out area at the back. Some pretty sick looking setup. So yeah, it is Chris's home track. We say home, he lives 40 minutes away, and because he's only 16 he can't drive, and the train takes an hour and 40 minutes, so although it is his local track, it isn't one that he rides loads, just due to the faff and admin it takes to get here. But yeah, he is sponsored by Vardasol Mountain, so yeah, I think a lot of people are under the impression that he's riding here all the time and he knows it like the back of his hand. But I guess we'll let the times and the qualifying and race sessions figure that out. Rumour has it he looked pretty sick on track today, like he always does. Just noticed a shade change coming to the shoe. A little bit undecisive, Chris. Sticking with the red.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good point, good observation there. Chris is the only rider running a full 29 setup. Everyone else on, yeah, traditional mullet, 29 front, 27.5 rear. It is something we spoke about when it came to testing and choosing the bike, but yeah, for his first year coming into World Cups, he wanted to keep things as just kind of familiar really, and one less thing to think about. Obviously the bike change itself was fairly substantial, but he felt that keeping the wheel size consistent would help him adjust to the new bike, and yeah, just give him less things to ponder over and yeah, worry about when it comes to racing on new tracks and unfamiliar territories over World Cup where the pressure's a bit higher, the pace is insane nowadays in junior. So yeah, might be something we try in the future when we get on the new V10, but we'll see. He's also pretty tall, riding style is pretty off the back of the bike, And yeah, he just decided the full 29 setup was best for him. So stoked to see how these turn out. Another interesting question about the start order. Unsure on that one, to be honest. I don't know if it was due to new protected riders coming through or not. But yeah, it was a little bit funky, but worked out in the end. But yeah, potential suggestion about the introduction of new protected riders. So it's the only one I can think of anyway. But yeah, you've probably been bored of my rambles and stuff there anyway, and we've got the rest of the end of the day back preparation and hit teardown to do, so we'll crack on with that. But if anyone's just joined lately, the start of the conversation with Dakotah Norton was super interesting. We were talking about the setup and testing they'd done on Frida, who is his better half's bike. So yeah, could be worth going back, replaying that, seeing what he has to say, and we'll talk about the testing sessions and changes we did there. So yeah, peace out from Barsol. Make sure to keep an eye out for a lot of riders, Chris in particular, with it being his local race. So yeah, we'll see there. But yeah, we'll be back again, 40 Worlds, a little break now. But yeah, any question or anything, drop us there. And yeah, one last plug for Chris's Union Buyers workout that came out today. You can watch it on Bio YouTube. So yeah, make sure to check that out after this. And yeah, see you soon. Peace.